The night began like any other, alive with laughter, music, and the steady hum of conversation. I never imagined it would end with my life unraveling in ways I couldn't fix. My name is Claire, and I thought I was just enjoying myself, a little harmless flirting. But fun, as I would soon learn, can carry a weight heavier than guilt itself. The party was at Jenna's apartment, a warm, inviting space dotted with twinkling lights and the scent of fresh flowers. Couples huddled in corners, friends shared stories over glasses of wine, and I drifted in that familiar fog of charm and attention. Then I noticed him, our neighbor Adam. He leaned casually against the counter, laughter flickering in his eyes, and something stirred in me that I hadn't expected. Dangerous curiosity, an irresistible pull. We talked, laughed, exchanged subtle glances neither of us could ignore. Every word sparked something. Every smile felt like a thread drawing me closer to a line I shouldn't cross. And the worst part, I knew it. My husband's voice echoed in my mind, calm but firm. Don't even think about it. I had smiled and nodded, but a small part of me whispered, what's the harm? Just a little attention. By the time the night ended, I felt both exhilarated and terrified. I left Jenna's apartment with Adam's laughter still ringing in my ears, the thrill of the flirtation lingering like smoke I couldn't quite shake. I had no idea how quickly a single choice, a single fleeting moment, could destroy everything I had worked so hard to protect. The next morning, sunlight streamed sharply through the blinds, exposing everything I had tried to hide. I woke with a lingering thrill from the night before, a foolish hope that nothing had changed, that it had been just a harmless interaction, a story to laugh about later. But reality has a way of arriving uninvited, and mine came in the form of my husband's cold, measured voice. He didn't yell. He didn't explode. That wasn't him. He simply looked at me with eyes that had once held warmth, now icy and impossible to meet without flinching. Claire, he said, each word heavy with disappointment. I warned you. In that instant, the weight of every glance, every careless smile, every whispered word pressed down on me. I tried to explain, to downplay, to laugh it off as a silly moment blown out of proportion. But his silence was louder than any argument I could make. He didn't lecture. He didn't beg me to understand. He simply collected his coat, his keys, and left, leaving me staring at the doorway, paralyzed by the emptiness that followed. The hours stretched endlessly. Calls went unanswered, texts ignored. Adam, the neighbor who had seemed exciting and harmless just a night ago, felt suddenly meaningless. A ghost of temptation that had cost me everything. I realized then that the flirtation had never been just about fun. It was a choice. And choices carry consequences far heavier than a fleeting thrill. By evening, the reality of my actions hit like a cold wave. The apartment felt impossibly vast, unbearably silent, as if the walls themselves were judging me. My husband hadn't just left the room. He had left our life together, taking with him the stability, the trust, the love I had taken for granted. And I had no one to blame but myself. I wandered through the empty rooms, fingers brushing over surfaces that once held memories of comfort. Each photograph, each keepsake seemed to accuse me of selfishness, of carelessness. The laughter and excitement of last night now felt hollow. A cruel reminder that I had traded something irreplaceable for a momentary thrill. When night fell, I had no home to retreat to. My husband had locked the door behind him, leaving me both literally and figuratively outside the life I had assumed was mine. Friends offered advice, support, even sympathy, but nothing could fill the void I had created. Every message, every attempt at explanation met with polite distance or unspoken judgment. As I sat on the steps outside, city lights blurred through my tears, and I finally faced a truth I had been avoiding. Attention, no matter how thrilling, could never replace respect, trust, and love. The flirtation that seemed so harmless had destroyed everything that mattered. And in that destruction, I found a bitter clarity. I could never undo what I had done, and I would bear the weight of my choices alone. Sometimes the consequences of a single night last a lifetime, shaping how you see yourself, others, and the fragility of what you once thought unshakable. I learned that lesson the hardest way possible.